也许中国的护照不能让你去到世界上的任何一个地方，
Maybe a Chinese passport can't take you everywhere in the world, but it can bring you home from
中
anywhere.
国护照就是通往最安
A
全的
Chinese passport is a pass to the safest place.
中华人民共和国公民，当你在海外遭遇危险，
When you face danger overseas, remember, behind you is a powerful homeland.
The person on screen is Wu Jing, a well-known Chinese actor who was once hailed as the toughest of tough men in China's entertainment industry. His iconic line, "Behind you is a powerful motherland," resonated with audiences and packed theaters. However, in a striking shift, he has now become a frequent subject of internet memes. The actor who rose to fame with the movie Wolf Warrior saw his latest film Goodbye Bad Guys flop after just 6 days, with disappointing box office numbers. Due to his overly calculated persona, he was given a new nickname online, Fox Jing. On reality shows, his devoted husband image also fell apart overnight, leaving him branded as a cloying old man by fans. From national hero to laughingstock, Wu Jing's dramatic shift in public perception has been compared by some to being struck by his own wolf warrior boomerang. Let's take a closer look at how his career has taken a downturn. Wu Jing didn't rise to fame overnight. Before becoming Wolf Warrior, he was simply an action star with martial arts skills. In his early years, he appeared in numerous action films but never achieved significant success. In the commercial film market, he struggled with having a few resources. The turning point came in 2015 when Wu Jing directed and starred in Wolf Warrior. With its strong nationalistic sentiment and intense action sequences, the film quickly became a box office hit. In 2017, Wolf Warrior 2 broke records, grossing 5.6 billion yuan and became a cultural phenomenon in China. The success of Wolf Warrior 2 elevated Wu Jing from an action star to a national hero. His image became deeply tied to the military roles he played on screen, portraying him as the toughest of tough men. During this time, Wu Jing's popularity soared. He was brave, bold, and proud to represent China. His line, "A Chinese passport can bring you home from anywhere in the world," inspired a wave of patriotic little pinks overseas. However, extreme nationalism led some misguided supporters, often called little pinks, to challenge foreign boundaries. It was only when they faced consequences that they realized the illusion of patriotism. In 2025, a little pink visiting Mongolia pulled out a Chinese flag in a public space and claimed that Mongolia was an inherent part of China. As a result, he was beaten and lost 7 teeth. When he went to the Chinese embassy in Mongolia to complain, the Chinese ambassador warned him, "Who told you to go to Mongolia? Don't listen to nonsense online. Don't come back again." Wu Jing didn't just disrupt the perceptions of little pinks with his words. More importantly, he was assigned a highly symbolic persona. He repeatedly emphasized in public that filming is not for money, but to give the Chinese people their own hero. This stance resonated strongly with public opinion, and he quickly became a patriotic figure in official narratives. His commitment to performing his own stunts, even mortgaging his property to fund films, was repeatedly highlighted by the media, further solidifying his tough guy image. Wu Jing's love story with Xian Nan was packaged as the softer side of his tough guy image, with his devoted husband persona becoming the perfect complement to his hard-edged character. With these 3 personas supporting him, Wu Jing's public image seemed unbreakable. However, this highly symbolic image set the stage for potential issues. When reality conflicted with his persona, the collapse was bound to be swift and severe. Wu Jing's public persona first began to crumble when his performance on a reality show. On the show, where he appeared with his wife, Xian Nan, Wu Jing faced criticism for his emotional detachment, lack of consideration, and behavior that came across as a form of emotional abuse. For example, he cooked noodles but only for himself and ignored his wife. When his wife, Xian Nan, wanted to chat with him, he coldly replied, "How do I know when you want to chat?" While cooking, when his wife reminded him to cook the food properly, he exploded, saying, "Why do you keep nagging me every time I do something?" These moments shattered his devoted husband image. Online comments were harsh, with one user remarking, "If he behaves like this on a show, what's he like off-screen?" Another commented, "It feels like there is a hint of domestic abuse." The contrast between the perfect husband image he had built on screen and his cold, hard behavior on the reality show sparked widespread backlash. The mockery of Wu Jing began to intensify after August 22nd, 2025. On that day, his film Goodbye Bad Guys, which he produced, made only 267,000 yuan in its first 6 days. Compared to the success of Wolf Warrior 2, this was a significant disappointment. The film's failure was just the surface. Critics revisited Wu Jing's past bold statements, remixing them for comedic effect. The once celebrated tough guy quotes were turned into jokes, and Wu Jing's response to public criticism, which appeared sly and calculating, earned him the nickname Fox Jing. This marked the complete collapse of his public persona. As people dug into past interviews, they uncovered a side of Wu Jing that seemed vain and eager to show off. In an interview with Guo Dengang on the program The Unordinary Way, Wu Jing claimed to be a descendant of the Qing dynasty's nobleman Dorgon and mentioned being oppressed by the Chinese government, even having his family estate seized. He may not have realized at the time that promoting himself as a descendant of a former dynasty could be controversial under communist rule. This combination of a patriotic image with a noble background portrayed him as a two-faced figure. Audiences also turned against Wu Jing because of what they saw as dishonesty. In one interview, he said, "I love my country and yet you criticize me. I am Chinese. Loving my country is not a crime." But as more details surfaced, that claim was called into question. It was first discovered that Wu Jing, known for his patriotic image, used an Apple phone. Later, reports revealed that his family held different nationalities. Wu Jing was registered in Hong Kong, his wife Xie Nan held a US green card, and their son was a British citizen. Commentators questioned how the family could promote patriotism when they did not even share the same nationality. Some online comments were openly mocking, saying wearing Adidas, using an Apple phone, driving a Ferrari, and wearing a Rolex, then calling yourself patriotic. Beyond vanity, showing off, and dishonesty, analysts say his decline also reflects changing audience taste. When Wolf Warrior was released, viewers embraced its nationalistic themes, but younger generations today prefer entertainment and satire. Wu Jing's condescending tone in interviews, often perceived as lecturing the audience, feels out of touch. Every word and gesture is now clipped, remixed, and turned into memes. His once famous tough guy quotes have become punchlines for jokes. Another factor is the backlash that often follows when a public figure is placed too high on a pedestal. Audiences tend to distrust images that appear overly perfect, and once flaws are revealed, the criticism can be overwhelming. A third reason is the fading of nationalism that supported the success of Wolf Warrior series. Over time, audiences moved away from patriotic slogans and began to value storytelling, acting, and innovation instead. However, Wu Jing remained stuck in the patriotic tough guy narrative, recycling the same symbols. Viewers grew tired and saw little sign of growth. A fourth reason, analysts say, is connected to changes in China's diplomatic strategy. Some of the mockery of Wu Jing began with personnel in the foreign ministry. China's diplomacy is often called Wolf Warrior diplomacy, and diplomats were required to watch Wu Jing's Wolf Warrior films to understand the term. In one scene, his character raises the Chinese flag in Africa to gain passage, something that foreign diplomats reportedly found laughable. In Wolf Warrior 2, Wu Jing promoted the Chinese passport in ways that were misleading. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs later had to publish an article on the state paper Xinhua titled "Clarifying the Differences Between Chinese and US Passports" to address the issue. Diplomacy is about building alliances globally, which requires negotiation. It cannot succeed through a tough stance or intimidation. Yet Chinese diplomats overseas also face questions and criticism because of Wu Jing's films. With shifts in China's diplomatic strategy, Wu Jing became an easy target of ridicule. Under Communist Party rule, many actors risk becoming another Wu Jing. In an online environment lacking logic, the public acts as both promoter and executioner. Wu Jing was first elevated as a national hero, then torn down. The same patriotic youth who once supported him were the ones who brought him down. Who are these patriotic youth known as Little Pinks? The term little refers to their youth, energetic and competitive, but still immature. The word pink in Chinese literally means powdered red. In this context, it suggests admiration for the Communist Party while their views are not yet fully formed. Red in China refers to loyalty to the party, the nation, and its leaders. The Little Pinks are mostly people born in the 1990s and 2000s, often college or graduate students, young professionals, and some high school students. They do not need to worry much about personal life issues and instead focus on national affairs. Around 2008, overseas students and immigrants became the early representatives of the group, showing strong and emotional patriotism. During Xi Jinping's rule, the scope expanded. Anyone expressing left-leaning views and making strong political statements online could be labeled as a little pink. On January 19, 2024, a confrontation took place at St. Pancras Station in London between several Chinese travelers and British pianist Brendan Kavanagh, a YouTuber who had long been live streaming his public piano performances at the station. The traveler, carrying Chinese flags and wearing red scarves, demanded that he stop recording and delete footage of them appearing in his live stream, citing Chinese law. They accused him of racism and threatened legal action. Kavanagh refused, stating firmly, "This is not communist China, this is a public space in the UK." He told them that if they did not want to appear on camera, they were free to leave. Police later intervened and asked the Chinese travelers to leave. Kavanagh then declared on camera, "Freedom of speech has won." The video capturing the encounter later posted on Kavanagh's YouTube channel went viral. Within days, it reached more than 9.3 million views worldwide and sparked what some described as an unexpected anti-CCP wave among online influencers. Kavanagh made it clear that he distinguishes between China, Chinese people, or Chinese culture, and the Chinese Communist Party. He argued that the party seeks to control everything, including traditional Chinese practice like Falun Gong meditation and even religious institutions like Catholic churches. He said the party's attempt to enforce Chinese law in London was an example of cross-border repression. This video shows two Chinese travelers on a Thai Lion Air flight asking for hot water to prepare instant noodles they had brought on board. The flight attendant, meaning well and following procedure, told them the hot water had to be poured into a cup. The rule was in place because if the noodle container leaked and burned another passenger, the airline would be held responsible. The travelers misunderstood this as a requirement to buy the airline's own noodles and started a dispute. What could have been resolved with simple understanding escalated when they recorded the incident and posted it online, creating the impression that Chinese passengers were acting irrationally.
我们在东京的新宿发现了一件非常严肃的事情啊，这个店的招牌上写了
The video shows a little pink in Japan reacting to a restaurant sign written in Chinese to Chinese customers. All ingredients here come from Fukushima. He believed it was discriminatory and called the police. The restaurant had no such intent. Fukushima products are widely eaten in Japan, and the owner wrote the note in Chinese to make sure Chinese customers were aware. Commentators say the little pinks often lack basic civic knowledge, yet believes they think independently. They follow trends to appear edgy, and they blur the lines between subculture and political systems, reacting strongly to the color red. They argue that loyalty and hatred dominate the group's thinking. The 2015 fall of state TV host Bi Fu Jian was also linked to the Little Pinks. That year, at a private banquet, Bi jokingly sang lines from the Cultural Revolution opera The Taking of Tiger Mountain. In a mocking tone, he said Mao Zedong had caused suffering and used a vulgar insult. Without his knowledge, a video was recorded and uploaded, triggering heated discussions among the Little Pinks. Many Little Pinks accused B of insulting a great leader, calling him a traitor, and said his words did not match his image as a state media host. They demanded an apology and urged CCTV to act. Some said they called CCTV hotlines to complain. What began as private banter became a political issue, and the uproar pushed B, once seen as approachable, out of public view. There was still some room for free expression at the time. In a commentary titled Who is to Blame for Bi Fujian's Inappropriate Video Leaking? The Global Times noted that the exact context at the banquet was unclear. It said B seemed to be joking in a private setting, but whether he was entertaining friends or expressing real frustration could not be determined. The piece was uncommittal, but pressures from the Little Pinks effectively ended B's career at CCTV. Shaped by leftist ideology, many Little Pinks believe China has long faced threats from foreign powers and that the West still seeks to block China's rise. They also believe anti-China forces allegedly funded from overseas, including intellectuals, writers, lawyers, and scholars, whether showing hostility overseas or at home, first praising and then turning against figures like Wu Jing. Their behavior follows the same pattern. Over years of political indoctrination, and with access to outside information blocked by the Great Firewall, many of the so-called Little Pinks have lost the ability to gather information independently. In time, that also weakened their capacity for independent thinking, leaving them as instruments of the propaganda system. This resembles the Red Guards during the Cultural Revolution. Driven by zeal, they rushed to the front only to be abandoned by Mao Zedong and sacrificed in political struggles. The rise of the Little Pinks is both the product of evolving state indoctrination and evidence of how an authoritarian system restricts thought and manipulates the public. Returning to Wu Jing, he may not have expected today's outcome when he praised the Communist Party. The veteran actor Jet Li once advised him, "Know who you are." The implied answer is that he was being used as a political tool. Wu Jing's early film and TV work conveyed a sense of freedom and openness with lines such as, "The sky darkens, the moon is as at first, across a vast land I can go where I choose." After he tied himself to the party, that spirit changed. Commenters have been blunt about his recent films, saying Wu Jing's movies don't deserve such high box office. They profit by stirring nationalist sentiment while posing as righteous, and that is disgusting. Confucian teaching offers a reminder: do not commit a small wrong, do not neglect a small good. To change society, venting at celebrities is not enough. Change begins with personal effort and the pursuit of truth. Paul Joseph Goebbels, Nazi Germany's propaganda minister, once said, "A lie told once remains a lie, but a lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth." History shows that propaganda culture deceives both the public and those in power. When it comes to figures like Wu Jing, only by uncovering the truth can the Little Pinks avoid being used again.